grass. But not just any grass. This is Much Wenlock grass, and Much Wenlock is a hidden gem nestled in the heart of Shropshire, England. Today, not only will we be exploring a beautiful ruin of an abbey, but also the birthplace of the modern day Olympics. Much Wenlock's history dates back to over 1,000 years, with its roots tracing back to medieval times. Walking through its streets feels like stepping back in time with its well-preserved architecture and traditional English charm. Now the introductions are out the way, let's talk parking. The car park is a good size and a great place to park, not only for visiting the abbey, but also walking the town too. It's £3 for the day, I think. I might be wrong, normally am. But on the car park there is a large information board giving detailed information about the town's history. Admission is on the screen, with the prices being a little steep, but if you're into your history, it's definitely worth it. Not only that, in the shop where you pay, they sell all kinds of gifts and trinkets, but they sell mead, which is something that is not very common today. So that was a nice little surprise.
This is Wenlock Priory, and as you can tell, it's not massive, but there's enough. It was £19 for two of us to get an entry, which is a little expensive. This isn't owned by the National Trust, this is English Heritage, so it's owned by a different, obviously, fundee, I guess, or different protector of these things, which is fine. But this is real nice. A lot of it has been destroyed, so there's only like peaks and spires. A lot of it has been destroyed, but there's still some good parts. You can see the architecture. Here you go with this. So zoom in. Boosh. You can see some of the architecture is still in pretty good nick. That's the geese going wild. So yeah, it's still in pretty good condition. You can see where all the pillars once were, supporting the Grand Hall. It is phenomenal. I just love these places. And the leaflet that they give us at the desk had all the locations for the English heritage sites. So it's going to be a case of going through those and just ticking them off on the ones we have been and the ones we haven't been. And I can tell you, look at that, holy, there's a lot of them, like a lot. So that's going to be fun.
Like many places that have been preserved to a good standard or are well looked after, they have an abundant number of signs, plaques, or even notice boards stating what the areas once were, making it a great way to understand the layout of the buildings.
So we've just come across this wall, or what looks like part of an internal wall. As you can see, it's obviously collapsed, and all of this, by the looks of it, none of this has been repaired. It's probably been cleaned, but none of it's been repaired. This is the original state of it. That's incredible. Look at the craftsmanship in that. The stonemasons that would have done this work would have been like incredible skill. Today we just do it at machines. It's had all been by hand. Whoa. Incredible work. Oh, we're missing a roof.
Founded in the 12th century, Much Wenlock Priory was established by the Cluniac order of monks who sought to create a spiritual haven amidst the rolling hills of Shropshire in England. For centuries, the priory thrived as a centre of religious worship and scholarly pursuits. Its monks devoted their lives to prayer, study and charitable works, while also playing a significant role in the local community. However, Much Wenlock Priory's story is not without its share of challenges. Throughout its history, the Priory faced periods of political turmoil, religious upheaval, and economic hardship, which left their mark on its crumbling walls. Let's go back even further. Before the Cluniac monks settled at the Priory, it was an Anglo-Saxon monastery that was founded here in about 680 by King Merewall of Mercia, whose abbess daughter, Milburge, was hailed as a saint. Great title. Her relics were miraculously rediscovered here in 1101, attracting both pilgrims and prosperity to the Priory.
After walking around, like, this architecture to me will never get old, even though it is old because it's ruins. It will literally never get old seeing it, even though a lot of the places are all very similar with the way it's built, the era they were built. They was all built between like 11th and 13th century, so the architecture is all very similar, but it will literally never change. Like, you just walk around, look at that. It's just incredible. I've said it before, it's a shame we don't do this anymore. Everything's very like, oh yeah, let's get it up, let's get it done. Quick builds, nothing's built to last anymore. Like this was like constructed around like the 12th century or whatever, and it's, granted it's not in use, but a lot of it is still standing. These days, someone's house only lasts a couple of months and the bricks are falling out and there's cracks in the walls. Look at this. If only we built like today like we did back then. The crypt. Look at that. Very rare you come across those. According to the sign, there was bones discovered. I thought it was like underground storage. I was wrong.
The church and most of the monastic buildings were largely completed by 1250, though building work continued into the 15th century. In 1540, the priory fell victim to Henry VIII's suppression of monasteries, of course, like everything else. The monks left with pensions, and most of the building fell into ruin. Moving on from the priory, next we set our sights onto something a little different. Sports. On the 25th of February 1850, the Wenlock Agricultural Reading Society resolved to establish a class called the Olympian class for the promotion and morale, physical and intellectual improvement of the inhabitants of the town and neighbourhood of Wenlock. The secretary of the class and driving force behind the Olympian Games was Dr. William Penny Brooks, who was inspired to create these events through his work as a doctor and surgeon. In 1861, after several years of work by Brooks and his colleagues, the Shropshire Olympian Games were introduced, with the first games being held at Wellington. The first national Olympian Games were held in London in 1866 and were organised by the National Olympian Association, which had been co-founded by Brooks in 1865. Baron Pierre de Coubertin visited Wenlock Olympian Society in 1890, which held a special festival. He was inspired by Dr. Brooks and went on to establish the International Olympic Committee. Brooks was named as one of the honorary delegates at the 1894 Sorbonne Congress, at which the International Olympic Committee was established. This certainly has been a mixed bag of history, from the Priory to the birth of the modern Olympics. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.